Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of PandTha Talks.
Hello.
We're still the weird host that we always are.
Always will be. Always have
Yeah,
been.
that's never ever going to change. We've known each other for too long to change at this point.
We're actually getting close to half of our lifespan, I feel like.
Yeah, it's getting concerning.
Eh.
For everyone else, anyways.
Yeah. That sounds better.
Yeah. So, we've got an interesting week this week. As Will knows already, there's been some releases that I've been kind of moving towards and quite hyped about for a
One
while.
in particular.
Yes, so we'll be discussing something to do with that, but let's quickly do the cap of what we're going over this episode.
Speaking of cap, ho.
So to start with, we'll be covering the Olympics. For some reason, I'm still kind of baffled by this. They universally agreed to allow esports to be a sport in the Olympics. Still not sure.
A sport.
Yeah, I'm still not sure why. As a friend of mine said, and I do agree with them, you are not an athlete because you can play games. And I do have to agree with that. After that, we'll be covering more Microsoft staff unionizing.
Unionization.
Yeah, the Microsoft's World of Warcraft gaming staff votes to unionize.
Are they building the rebellion?
I think so, yeah. After that, we'll be discussing the insanity of Pokimane selling a private gaming session for $500,000. The only positive I can say about this is, if I recall correctly, it's for charity.
Yeah. I don't even know if the majority of the population has property value of $500,000, let alone just in their bank.
My thoughts exactly. And the last two topics, one of them, which is what I've been hyped about for ages and Will already knows about, Fallout London, finally released.
I actually saw a TikTok of it. They're actually advertising it on TikTok and everything.
I got some hands-on time, not as long as I'd like, because the game broke the next day when I tried to play, and I've been playing a lot of Ready or Not.
Classic Bethesda.
Yeah. So I've just reinstalled it all while Will was waiting. And finally, we'll be discussing Once Human, which seems to have blown the fuck up lately.
I was hearing a lot about it, but
Considering
the only
it's
thing I knew was the moving
free-to-play.
bus and the moving house.
Yeah, considering it's a free-to-play, I thought it'd be something interesting to discuss. So, with all that said and done, let's get into this week's episode.
Let's do it.
So, we'll start with the Olympics. Yeah, as I said at first, I actually saw the clip where they put the vote forward and not a single person in the room disagreed with esports becoming an Olympic sport. Genuinely don't know how to feel about that. But the part that's baffling me, as you pointed out earlier when I shared my screen with you, what do you mean non-violent games?
Like, what could you play other than the likes of Rocket League?
See,
which
this is the
is
thing.
like one of the most mundane games ever.
The only game I can think of really is Rocket League, because when it was first mentioned, and I was thinking about what games they'd play, my usuals came to mind: League of Legends, Dota, fucking Call of Duty, Fortnite, that sort of stuff. Those are what I imagined. Rocket League, I actually had forgotten about at the time, but you do raise a very good point. That also has a massive esports environment. So, what is it gonna be? So, the International Olympic Committee has voted for the creation of the first Olympic esports games, only without the games people care about. So, our opinion immediately. While esports has been a fixture of the gaming landscape for years now, its path to being recognised as a sport by the Olympics has been somewhat slow crawl.
not sure about you, mate, but I have never in my life had any interest about esports. I
Yeah, I
get that
haven't.
it is like quite a big thing in certain games in particular,
Oh yeah,
but overall, I'm not fussed.
no. Don't get me wrong. I play certain games to strive to be pretty good at them, but I'm good at them in the context of I'm good with my friends. If I'm playing a game with a friend, I'm pretty good with that person or them people.
Yeah, you get to learn your friend's playstyle.
Yeah, I
Like me
could
and some,
not.
I learned that he's a little rat that skins his armor green and sits in a bush with a silencer.
Yeah,
And then I just use myself as bid.
there you go. But for example, I would not enjoy playing with other people who I don't already have a connection with. Just because they're the best of the best, that would kill me internally.
Yeah.
The first major step with the creation of the Olympics Esports Series, which was first held in Singapore in June 2023, the event faced criticism, however, over the choice of the games on the lineup, which ranged from Gran Turismo 7, a version of Fortnite where you shoot targets instead of people, Just Dance, and obscure oddities like Tic Tac Bow and Zwift. What in the ever loving fuck am I reading?
Hey, really not sure. What is Zwift?
I have no idea. What the fuck's tic tac bow?
I imagine you shoot a bow into a tic tac grid to mark your X or O.
Uh, Zwift is
Uh,
literally just you bike in front of a TV. It's basically like doing the Tour de
was it
France,
was
but in your
yeah,
living room.
was this not done already?
I think it may have been. What the hell's tic tac bow? Let's properly go into this here.
Yeah, it is. I what? Uh,
It's basically just archery. Wait, no, it's not that mobile game. No, it couldn't be. Virtual sports. Baseball, chess, cycling, dance, motorsport, sailing, shooting, taekwondo, tennis.
what other?
Holy crap, what the fuck is this? The International Olympic Committee, IOC, has now taken a significant step forward in its esports push by officially approving the creation of the Olympic Esports Games, although the games involved are still not what you'd expect. The standalone event is set to take place in 2025 in Saudi Arabia, which is currently hosting the first ever Esports World Cup. An event, an exact date and venue is yet to be decided, but it comes as part of a 12-year agreement between the IOC and the country to host the event. The Olympic Esports Games will act as a standalone event outside of the actual Olympics, and it's currently unclear whether winners will actually receive medals. Participants of the Olympic Esports Series last year won small trophies instead. Speaking about the announcement, IOC President Thomas Bach said, "This is truly a new era for the IOC, with the confirmation by the IOC session of the creation of the Olympic esports games. We are keeping up with the pace of the digital revolution." No, no, you're not. Trust me, from what I've just heard, you are not. The esports community represented in our Game Esports Commission has enthusiastically engaged with the initiative. This is further proof of the attractivity of the Olympic brand and the values it stands for among young people. This is another issue I find with anything major. It's all about the brand of it.
Yep.
I don't know if you see this a lot, but it doesn't matter what it is, it's got to be about the brand. Always.
That's all it is anymore these days, man. That's why inflation is such a big thing as well, because it's all branded names and they just raise the prices like crazy and no one can do a thing about it.
Oh, yeah.
So when you see like weird names you've not seen before, things that just don't really have a brand, they're cheap as chips.
Oh, yeah. Too true. As for what games we could be on the lineup, don't expect any first-person shooters. The IOC previously stated games like Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, and Rainbow Six Siege will never be a part of the Olympic esports as they involve visible violence using weapons.
Are they not like the main games for
For
competitiveness though?
esports, yes. That League of Legends, that sort of stuff. Street Fighter, actually, yeah, that's another one. Injustice, stuff like that. It's unclear, though, if the stance extends to fighting games like Street Fighter 6.
Well, if they're wanting to
Visible
avoid
violence.
violence,
Yeah.
yeah.
Capcom's Fighter was part of a separate exhibition event during Olympics Esports Week last year, but it was omitted from the main Olympics Esports series lineup. That just seems like bias. No one in the IOC seems willing to acknowledge that games featured in last year's events have little or no competitive community around them, with several being so obscure most people have never even heard of them, as we learnt earlier.
Yeah.
It's like if you replaced actual Olympic sports with tiddlywinks and an egg and spoon race, and it seems hypocritical given sports such as boxing and karate have been part of the Olympics for decades. I like that comparison. The representation of esports at the 2022 Commonwealth Games might also be an indicator of what to expect, which included tournaments of Dota 2, eFootball, and Rocket League. See, Rocket League and Dota 2 / League of Legends, I expected. But you can't say you want esports and then proceed to avoid an entire section or genre of gaming.
Which is the main
Because,
scene for competitiveness.
yeah, it just doesn't add up. Yeah, I get you probably don't want to show violence in games. Put it past a watershed. Put it later on so that parents know. Aside from the lineup, the decision to host the event in Saudi Arabia might be a bigger concern for some. The country's human rights record, especially in regards to freedom of speech and LGBTQ people, has led to some blowback against the current Esports World Cup. This year's Olympic Games in Paris, France officially kicks off on Friday, July 26th, 2 days ago, although there is no esports at this event. Just bring shooters in, like, Jesus Christ. I don't even know how to feel about that, it's just dumb. There's just nothing, is there? They've basically turned around and gone, how can we make esports included without actual esports?
Yeah.
And I don't know why that would even go through someone's head. So anyway, back to some more unionization. Microsoft's World of Warcraft gaming staff votes to unionize. I mean, fair play to them. Completely fair play to them. So from Bloomberg, World of Warcraft workers have voted to unionize the popular video game franchise, expanding organized laborers' new foothold at the Microsoft Corp by around 500 employees. That's a pretty decent margin.
Just a few people.
Just a couple. An arbiter overseeing an election at the company determined that a majority of the Warcraft team's employees have supported the Communications Worker of America, the union said. We continue to support our employees' right to choose how they are represented in the workplace, and we will engage in good faith negotiations with the CWA as we work towards a collective bargaining agreement, a spokesperson for Microsoft said in an emailed settlement. Their organizing effort, which brings the number of unionized US gaming employees at Microsoft to around 1,750, was buoyed by the company's unusually unions-friendly stance. The new bargaining unit, which includes artists, designers, engineers, producers, and quality assurance testers, could help spur more organizing at the company. if people are struggling to understand why this is such a big thing, with all the layoffs recently, the fact that Microsoft is completely on board with people unionizing is kind of a big shock. Because they've been trying to just get rid of people and that'll be the end of the story. So this is good to see.
I mean, it just seems like every company's trying to get rid of people.
Oh, too true. It's exciting to potentially raise the standard of the entire industry as siblings in organizing, said Catherine Friesen, a Warcraft designer and member of the union's organizing committee. Rather than campaigning against unionization on its gaming teams, Microsoft continued its recent practice of staying neutral and agreeing to voluntarily recognize and negotiate with the group if it secured majority support, according to the CWA. What do you mean staying neutral? If they're agreeing to recognize and negotiate with the group if the majority support it, that's not staying neutral. That's basically going, okay, if you win out and you get enough people to go, yes, we want this, we will do it. Best of the most. It's basically out of everyone, how many people want this? If the majority want it, we will move forward. Simple as that.
Works.
Yeah. The CWA's win at Warcraft allows a similar victory last week. Approximately 240 employees at Microsoft's Bethesda game studios, which makes Elder Scrolls and Fallout, everyone knows. The Warcraft workers are part of Activision Blizzard, which Microsoft acquired last fall. Leaders of the organizing drive said they hope to secure a say on issues like pay, remote work, and workplace diversity and equity. Activision was roiled by controversy prior to being purchased, with the state of California and the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC, filing lawsuits accusing the company of violating civil rights laws. Jesus Christ, Activision, what were you up to? Hundreds of Activision employees staged a walkout in 2021 after California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed a complaint alleging a frat boy culture and harassment at the company, which we eventually found out was true. I don't know if you recall, we covered that, I think, early last year.
It's probably not long after we started this.
Pretty much, yeah. It was in them first couple of months.
Yeah.
Activision ultimately reached an 8-figure settlement with California and the EEOC and the US Securities and Exchange Commission, which had accused the company of failing to maintain sufficient safeguards to address workplace misconduct. Jesus, yeah, this really kicks back some memories. Bloody hell. In the California settlement, the parties agreed that no court or any independent investigation had substantiated any allegations that there has been any systematic or widespread sexual harassment at Activision Blizzard, but everyone knows there was. In 2022, while seeking government approval to purchase Activision, Microsoft announced a new set of principles committing to collaborative approaches that will make it simpler for workers to choose whether to unionize. The company inked a deal with the CWA on more specific terms to ease unionization of certain jobs, and last year announced it would take a similar approach to organizing efforts by other AFL-CIO unions.
I think we're going to get to a point someday where we're going to go to read an article and it's just going to be letters combined together as abbreviations.
You noticed the same thing then?
Because I feel like it's just there's more and more every time we're reading one of these.
Oh yeah, 100% there are. Honestly, eventually I'm going to get to the point where I can't even open an article. It's just going to be something I've come across that week that I want to discuss in detail. That's
The
what it's going to
IO
turn
and the
into.
FCD said ABC to the 123.
Good song, good
It's just,
song.
it's getting overkill, man. It's like I'm
Yeah,
just struggling to follow sometimes.
I was saying. Workers say unionization was a long-time topic for the Warcraft team, but organizing efforts gained steam after other employees at Activision and the Microsoft game publisher ZeniMax unionized with the CWA over the past couple of years. World of Warcraft is a 2-decade old, still weird to say, it's 20 years old, online mega hit in which people can create characters, complete quests, and combat rivals while exploring fantasy realms. Not to be funny, if you don't know what World of Warcraft is, why are you watching this video?
That's crazy to think though that 20 years later and people are still like as absurdly and addicted
Oh, yeah,
this amount of time later. It's crazy.
it is. It's absolutely insanity, to be honest. Microsoft is one of many prominent workplaces where unions have scored landmark US organizing victories. I still don't understand this organizing bit. It just feels weird to say in the middle of a sentence. Since the start of the pandemic, including 2 Apple Inc. stores, an Amazon Inc. warehouse, a Volkswagen AG plant, and hundreds of Starbucks Corpse cafes. I think that says a lot about Starbucks.
Bro, is Starbucks down that bad? Oh my god.
Well, apparently they definitely don't care about their people. Damn.
In fairness, like even what time's that Starbucks concert open to?
It's all night, I think.
Yeah,
It
there
might
you go.
close for 3 hours in the middle.
They're open all night in a lot of places.
Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
Pokeplay.
Starbucks don't get it easy. Same as McDonald's, man, because they have a
Yeah.
lot of all-night stores.
Fucking too true. Pokimane is selling a private gaming session, but it'll cost you $500,000.
This
Millie.
is stupid.
Oh, way too true. This article's been up for 12 days now. Millions would love to play with the streamer, but it comes at a high price. Let's just avoid the pictures and move forward.
Yep.
Let's see. The world-famous Twitch streamer with more than 9 million followers on the service is auctioning off a gaming session with her in the name of charity. Yeah, so it is charity. She's
That's
best
still
known.
just like absurd. Like,
Oh yeah,
who's getting 500k out?
yeah, that's fairly accurate, mate. She's best known
Wait.
for playing. Com.
I just caught. So you'll. I'll not say it now, but read on and you'll see what I've just read.
You know what?
I know why it's 500k now.
I'll keep reading and I'll get to it.
Yep.
She's best known for playing Valorant and Fortnite, though the item doesn't specify which games you can play with her. A number of game. Sorry.
The item. She's an
Yeah.
item for sale, apparently. Let's
Apparently
shop on eBay.
A number of gaming streamers are taking part in the auction, which is raising money for Immune Deficiency Foundation. But Pokimane's time has the highest bids right now. Oh, it's actually bidded.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Someone's actually put 500 grand on it.
Hmm.
How much are you willing to bet this person's a bit of a creep?
Is that did that really need to be said? I thought that was already in there in
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. The top bid is currently $500,000 or £400,000 for a gaming session, though a number of other players have bid in excess of $100,000 or £80,000. We reached out to the current top bidder at the time of writing via Twitter, where they told us their plans if they win. They claimed that a number of companies have reached out for sponsorship deals should they win the bid, meaning that they would make some of the money back on their 500k investment. They say they plan to create content from the gaming session, which could also help recoup some cash. Even if this is the case, they still have to pay the 500k up front, making it a particularly large investment.
Yeah. Can we delete these pictures, man?
I mean, I can.
This is weird. Goodbye. Ah, wonderful.
Happy?
Thank you.
No problem.
It's just weird.
Give me a second. Let me go through this properly.
By all means.
That was the weirdest. There you go. Happy?
Look how small this article is.
Yeah, it really drops in size, doesn't it? Other items available in the auction include a hangout session with Iron Mouse and Connor, and Jaden Animation's 10 million subscriber diamond play button. While these
You
items
hang out
have...
with the creator or the play button? I'm confused.
Oh no. So you hang out with Iron Mouse and Connor, that's one thing, but then Jaden Animation's 10 million subscriber diamond play button is another thing.
So you just hang out with the play button? I'd be up for the play button rather than the people, honestly.
Yeah, you can buy the play button. That's what it's saying.
Oh, you can actually... Oh.
Yeah, they're selling it.
Surely that's against TOS.
Oh no, it happens a lot. While these
That's weird.
items have bidders in the tens of thousands, nothing comes close to Pokimane's play session. More items are being added to the charity auction periodically, but they aren't cheap. Personally, I'd just like a link to this charity session so I can take a look.
Imagine the guy pays 500k and gets an hour playtime.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then they're like, you want another hour? It's another 500k.
But it sounds like it's a business that's basically just get used for advertising. But at the end of the day, it does say private gaming session. So realistically.
But if they're going to record, it's not very private.
Here we are. Found it. No, this might be the old one. No, this is the one.
Bro, imagine the poor editor.
Is
Just
this
going to have to go
the
through
same
that
one?
video.
July 19th, 2024.
Yeah, that's 9 days ago.
Oh, view the auction house.
Winning bid 30,700.
That's a lot less than was claimed.
It was probably one of those people who thought they were hilarious, made some fucking account or used a burner account or something like that, made the bid with like fake details and all that jazz.
I remember this one.
Why is there a 4.6k sale for a Mike Wazowski figure?
That's a very good question.
My shoes, $3,000. What is wrong with the human race, man?
Oh, that was Moist Critical.
Who is Peter?
I don't know. Michael Reeves, the Roomba that screams. That man makes some weird stuff, but it's always funny.
Mr. Pig, $6,000.
I can get behind that.
A
Baby in a blender, game control. $6,000.
Pope head for $3,000. A full suit of plate armor, $4,500. Whoever bidded 4.5k and lost the bid to that weirdo that sat till last second and bidded $1 higher is probably furious.
Oh yeah. 10 million subscriber diamond play button, 20,200. Gavel, legal.
Just chair.
Yeah. 3D
5K.
printed skull.
You could definitely print that for about $20.
Oh yeah, with relative ease.
You could actually probably get a download of community file that's a far better printout too.
Dark and Darker, signed by game director.
Okay, I'm sure someone really would have actually liked that and weren't getting it just for the sake of it.
Oh yeah, I like this. Official Pirate Software Challenge coin. But this one, 2 people were bidding on it. Ludwig was bidding on it, and the person who actually almost won it was Jacksepticeye.
Damn.
He had a daft bid on it, really wanted to get it because he was going to give it away to one of his fans. And apparently, just as he went to sleep, the bid finished and Ludwig outbid him while he was sleeping.
That's the stupid thing about bids, man. Is people just sit and wait till last second and put a bid in that's literally like a few pennies higher, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
nothing you can do about it. It's so stupid.
But let's have a look. So in total, this actually earned $328,351.
It's a solid amount.
That's a fair amount of money. Now, if we look at the entire campaign, we can see they actually raised $541,185.85, which is over the 500k mark. I wonder if this is what they were on about. This figure.
No.
It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, maybe it was like a bit of clickbait. Like that was the total, and they were trying to say the highest bid is on Pokimane, but that's not the actual bid on her.
No. Now we can see actually where the top donators came from. So Pirate Software donated $21,950. Ludwig $32,145. And
Haven't heard his name in
Claudia.
a long time.
Yeah, I'm not sure who this person is. Claudia
I don't know who
Monitor.
Claudia is. I was talking about Ludwig.
Who is this person? They donated $68,200.
Oh, they're not people, are they?
4.35k subs. 6.5k followers. That seems a bit odd.
Yeah, they're one of those people. Okay.
They're a VTuber, but the fact that they don't have many subs or anything is shocking considering the amount they upload.
It just shows you the absurd money you can make off of Twitch depending on the ads you run.
Oh yeah. But anyways, let's get to what people are probably most interested in.
Well, I know it's what you're most interested in, Rory.
Oh, definitely. So Fallout London released, everyone. And I thought I'd run through like my first half an hour with the game. Because it was, what I played was a lot of fun.
Is that really all you got before Bethesda went, ha, fuck you?
Well, as I said, I got on there, I played for half an hour, then a friend jumped on and went, oh right, I finally downloaded Ready or Not, are you up for playing it? Yeah, I suppose. And I tried launching it today and it was just dead. So lovely, fantastic, just what I want. Yeah, Fallout London is officially out. It plays well. I just quite like what I've played so far. I've not got my hands on any weapons yet. I've just been beating the living shit out of rats with my hands. You start off in like a room. Well, I'm not gonna like ruin any of the plot bits or anything, but you start off in a room, you're waking your way out, you find two pit boys hooked up to a system, both of them aren't working, and then you find this Attaboy, as it's called. Do you remember the old mod that you used to see on Nexus and stuff that replaced the pit boy with like a holdable like pad version instead?
Sure.
Actually, I'll see if I can just find a see if I can just find a photo of it. It'd be easier. There we go. This is the Attaboy.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So you actually find that in the middle, which is actually this little image here. If I just pull this up. There we are. So Pip-Boy, and you can actually check there's some logs on them. And then the Attaboy is in the middle. You pull that up and that's what basically you're using for everything. So they got rid of like all the Vault Boy stuff because obviously Vault Boy isn't a thing here. And they're not in vaults, they're in something else, I forgot the name of it. But they've got these like weird symbolization, weird symbols. There we go. Let's see if I can pull this up. The fuck?
What?
Someone's trying to... Yeah. These are like the symbols. They're really goofy characters, and I quite like it. It's funny. Like this one as well. And they all got have animations and everything, but it's just funny to watch. So, anyways, I finally got my way out of this facility, like, got into this main room. It went, right, I've unlocked the door for you. Feel free to leave. I'm interested to see what you're going to do out there. Now, I knew where to go. It was quite obvious because lighting and everything that usually explains where you need to go. And I was like, well, I could do that. But I see this door behind me. There's an elevator, and I'm very interested. So I go up this elevator. There's a load more shoe fucking rats.
Just sounds like a classic Bethesda playthrough.
Yeah. Found these rats, and there was this balcony at the end. I opened the door, and there was a body hanging over the edge, and then there was a note stabbed into it with a knife.
Oh, I've seen this TikTok.
I opened the note, and all it says is, do it. I don't know if
what
you've
did
seen
you do,
the
Rory?
drop. Well, you can take a guess.
Yeah, see, what I felt like they were actually getting, concerning the knife, is you're meant to stab the knife into the live electric wires. No one else got that feeling?
No, not
You
really.
know? I don't know. Oh, that's the first thing that caught my attention. You know, knife note that says "do it" on electrical wires hanging from on the side. You know, stick it in there, see what happens.
So I've not experienced too much in the game, as I said, which is kind of sad so far. But I do plan to go back to it today, which is why I was installing it before me and Will go.
By
I've just seen
installing,
this
you're
though.
talking about the downgrading.
Yeah, downgrade. Then once you've downgraded, you install it on GOG, and then just press install, and off that goes. I've just seen this Fallout London Doctor Who Easter egg. That's the TARDIS. Activate unusual police box. Your Attaboy intercepts a fragmented signal. You'll need to discover more frequencies to decode the open message.
Giving yourself
complete
spoilers,
message.
Rory. Stop it.
I know, I'm not going to do it anymore, but still, pretty cool. But no, the overall game, what I played so far, was pretty cool. The opening's interesting, because obviously you get some, like, you're getting thrown into it, you've got no idea what's going on. Mr. Smythe fucking starts talking shit to you, and you're like, what the fuck's all this about? And then you get on a train, and the train starts running, and you can see London. And next thing, it goes off the tracks. When you next take control, you're on the ground, you get up, and the train is basically in pieces. You survived, but you've taken injuries. So, due to what had happened in the opening, which I'm not going to go on about because that's something, you take 10% more damage. And due to the train crash, you also take 10% extra damage. You need to find a doctor, and that's the first thing you've got to do. And that was why I stopped. But you have to find a doctor to help you deal with these issues so that you're not going to be taking this extra damage all the time. Which means immediately you now have a job. Find out where the fuck someone is who can help you because you're fucking hurt.
One way to put it, yes.
It's a very good way to immediately make you go, shit, I need to find something.
Yeah.
But I thought what we'd do is we'd take a look at some official gameplay so that people can make their own opinions. That sound like good?
Yeah.
So, we're not going to watch the full thing, because it is 18 minutes.
Whatever, I will say, from how much you've talked about before as well, I have been wanting to play it myself, but I know that because Bethesda keep fucking things up for it, it's just not worth the trouble right now.
Yeah, I'd give it like another week.
For me, anyway. Especially because I'm playing other games, so like I would get like a small session, then not play it for probably like a week, get back on, not be able to play it again because they've done another update.
Yeah, I'd give it a couple of weeks, because Bethesda have quietened down like a lot. Oh wait, is this the intro? It is. This is literally the intro segment. Okay, I'm going to skip over all this because, as I said, I don't want to be covering all that. What I'm going to do, put this film. So, this is the basic system that you know of, Will. As I
Oh,
said, we've
yes.
got these goofy little characters. I think they're actually kind of nice animations. They're funny to watch.
They are. They're pretty good. You gotta give it to them.
Don't
It's
get
good
me
though,
wrong.
because it means as well they've not just copied like the default Fallout stuff. They've actually went through and made like everything their own kind of version of things. But at
Yeah.
the same time, they're still like reminiscent of Fallout itself.
Yeah.
What?
There's some really goofy shit. I find it quite funny. Some of the perks as well I actually quite liked. So I took 4 eyes because I just always do that. But the other one, I was like going through and going, some of them are alright, some of them are gonna kind of fuck me up. So I went with Puritan, which I'd never heard of as like a default perk. That one's funny. Just knock yourself out with a hammer. To put it kindly, you want the sharpest knife in the drawer. Gain
Never
+1
exceed
strength
3.
and endurance, but your intelligence may never exceed 3. This is the one I went with. Your body is a temple. +1 strength and endurance. This is reversed if the player drinks alcohol or uses chems, excluding Stimpaks, Radex, and Radaway. So basically, I
That's
just
a
wouldn't use
pretty
like.
good one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good perk to go for. Because there's no real like loss. I like the last one though.
There weren't traits in Fallout 3, were there?
Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas though were traits.
I don't remember using them in Fallout 3, but then again, it's been that long since I've touched
Yeah.
Fallout 3 that I wouldn't remember. Because I played tons of Fallout 4 and there weren't traits.
No, I know what you mean. So Sleepwalker, I think, is a pretty interesting perk. Is it a gift or a curse? Who knows? You often find yourself waking up in strange places with no memory of how you got there. So whenever you sleep, you'll end up somewhere random.
That's kind of cool.
That's like their Wild Wasteland perk, I think. So I am intrigued. But as I said, that's just the perk section. So we'll.
Give you a small bit of insight, Rowan. I have 10 minutes playtime on Fallout 3 on PC from August 9th, 2018. So you could probably bet that it was before then that I played it on the PS3. So it's been well over 6 years, I would say, since I played Fallout 3.
Oh yeah, just to. This was the first thing you're encountering. A cracked test tube that you're in, and you got to punch your way out.
The ship, the submarine, the Chinese warriors on.
Oh yeah.
It was like that.
This is very much what you'd expect.
I mean, it looks brilliant.
Yeah. Come out into a main open way. It's very much what you'd anticipate from a game made in Fallout 4's engine.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, some of the actual architecture of this looks better. Like the size of the building.
That's the thing that I'm always not being a crazy fan of in the Bethesda games. Everything feels very cramped a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Which is why I love to turn my FOV up even more in these games. So you can, it feels like you can see more. Well, obviously you can see more, but it feels like you're not like right up inside of things.
Oh yeah. So this is basic terminals. They're like, I don't know. I guess
I would say that would be a lot of work to completely redo this whole system.
Oh yeah. But to be fair, they've redesigned all the terminals from the seams of things. These are the rad shoes. Yeah. So instead of you've got your usuals basically. These are basically like typical rats in the UK. They're not daft sizes. One of the bastards ran away. It ran all the way back into the default room. That's unlucky. So, here we go. Pick up the device. Works just how you'd expect it to do. Now, when I looked at it at this door, I saw the little symbol, where you typically put your Pip-Boy thing. Turns out it's a cartridge. Blow into the cartridge, open the door, problem solved.
Isn't that the Pip-Boy part on the left of the button, though?
Yeah.
That's cool that they've still got it all in.
I quite like the voice acting in this so far. To be honest, this is probably actually the worst example I can use. If I get to... Yeah, you pick up a flashlight actually off a corpse, and that's where you get it from. And then you can use a flashlight. It's actually on a belt that you've got round you.
That's cool.
Instead of being part of the Attaboy.
Yeah, because the Pip-Boy can actually give off his own light, but I feel like that thing can't really.
Yeah. So this gives you a proper light. And I actually quite like that. I thought it was a really good design idea. Now this is probably going to give the best idea of how the voice acting is. So be prepared.
Where are you going? I doubt you'll make it far. Someone such as yourself. You were more useful as a lab rat. But alas, it seems I'm not long for this world. It's a shame, really. There was so much I wanted to do. Off you go, then.
System malfunction. Emergency decontamination in effect.
Really? You're not going to watch him get burnt alive?
I know, right? But
So sad.
personally, as a mod that's just filled with volunteers or they've paid the occasional person for their voice acting, that's good voice acting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I didn't expect it. So, typical elevator stuff, as we expect. Now it's time for even more voice acting. Yeah, the sheer scale, though, of all this.
Yeah.
You are quite the wayfarer, aren't you? Escaping all that hubbub. With all you've been through, I'm impressed. It seems I neglected to introduce myself. Very unprofessional of me. I'm Mr. Smythe.
That's the guy I was telling you about. Anyways, if I move along a little. Because obviously we've seen the combat, that sort of stuff. But what I thought I'd do, if I can pull it up. There we are.
Mind the gap.
And this is your first view of Fallout London.
They've put a hell of a lot of work into the world.
Oh,
It
yeah.
actually looks better than the Fallout world as well, considering everything is a distant, blurry mess in the distance.
Kind of impressed that little section. But there you go. We've gone through the gameplay. I know it wasn't as much, but I didn't want to ruin anything. That was the big thing. As much as I'd love to go through more,
He'd also
I
be
think...
spoiling stuff for himself too.
Yeah, I want to give it a couple of weeks, you know. They also have merch, apparently.
No?
I guess I've got some idea of some of the characters now. But yeah. Let's move on, shall we, to one more thing. The final thing of the day. I best actually just shift that. There we go. So, once human. I've heard a lot about this game, and it's starting to blow up a lot on TikTok and that sort of stuff. I'm sure, Will, you've seen a lot as well.
Seen bits and bobs, but I've not stuck my nose in any of it yet.
Neither have I. It's literally, I've got it, that's it. So, Once Human is a multiplayer open world survival game. Strange apocalyptic future. Unite with friends to fight monstrous enemies, uncover secret plots, compete for resources, and build your own territory. Once you were merely human, now you have the power to remake the world. Now, from what I've seen, graphically, it looks like a pretty good game. From what I've seen about people playing with their friends, that sounds fun. The shooting,
I
I'm not too certain on.
scroll down a bit, and they even if you're saying graphically, it's not terrible. It's looking decent on
Oh.
specs too. You don't need that much.
Let's see. So, minimum requirements, the i5 4460, 8GB RAM, 750 Ti. Fucking hell, that is really easy to get older. i7, 770, 16GB RAM, 1060, 6GB. Yeah, you really don't need much.
Nope.
Highly recommended SSD, that's the only thing. But an SSD, when you've got specs like that, that's not much. The building looks pretty remnant of stuff like Rust, except you seem to be able to do a lot more designing.
Yeah, a little more freedom with the ships.
Hmm.
Rust is squares and triangles in
Yeah.
specific places, and that's it. If
Okay.
they're too close together, you can't build.
Weapon customization looks reasonable.
I'd say in first person shooters these days, it's definitely one of the most sought after things.
It does seem
You
more
know,
like a third person.
If you're
though.
like my friend, you're gonna desperately want a silencer on.
I
If
always
you're like
do
me,
that
you're just
myself.
gonna want fast hand perks.
That's fair.
more shoot equal good.
The enemy types look pretty interesting. Bosses, things like that. Let's have a look at some of these reviews, shall we?
You can extract deer milk from male deer you kill.
10 out of 10. There's fishing, and I can make an aquarium. Can't enter the game on a server. All my friends got the same issue. Fix your major bugs. Fair enough. Good fun with friends, but the combat gets repetitive. That was my concern when I saw it.
I mean, I feel like that's the case with any kind of MMO.
Yeah.
And playing them solo, you're just having to do it for the grind, not for the fun, because you're just wanting to accomplish some things.
Exactly.
Playing with friends, you don't care because you're just having fun. Games like these, for me anyway, have never been about the combat. It's either you're on it to like grind out some stuff and just chill and sit back and grind, or you're there just to dick around with your mates and have a laugh and explore the world.
Yeah, no, I get that. Fun game, very different version of a zombie apocalypse, but any game that allows you to use a large frozen fish as a weapon has to be tried. I like that.
No, that doesn't sound very repetitive.
Okay. We got a negative review, 139.1 hours. That's pretty reasonable to get a full gist of what's going on. I was planning on waiting for the first wipe to happen before I write up my review, but due to reasons I will explain in a moment, it can't wait any longer. I was pumped about this game, and after playing for 139 hours after launch, I was hooked. The gameplay loop was enjoyable to me. I recommended this game to all and thought it was flawed, yet a great game. I enjoyed the game enough to spend a few bucks to support the dev team. I wish I would have held off doing so. Upon logging on this morning, to the game this morning, after about 10 minutes of gameplay, I got a notice that I was permanently banned. Interesting.
Okay, it's gonna be one of these stories, huh?
Yeah. I'm iffy on this one now, so let's just see. We'll read a bit more. If it's seeming to be what it looks like it's going to be, then we'll see here. Unsure of why, because I'm strongly against cheating in any form, in any way. 400 plus games, not once banned nor accused of any of them. in any of them
But
of such
bullshit,
activity.
everyone gets
Absurd.
accused of cheating at some point in their life.
Yep.
Hell, you know the guy that I tell you about that spent over 3K on his PC? Even he got accused of cheating the other day when we were playing Rust. It was absolutely hilarious because he's a complete idiot.
No, I get that. To be fair, you're saying, you know, I'm starting to
I
see
mean,
what kind of games you play, mate. Oh, I used to play that. Good game. Okay. The only support I can find is in their Discord support bot. Upon supplying the requested information, I was informed I was permabanned for using cheat software that gave me an unfair advantage. They wished me a good life and hoped I would give them a good review. That was dumb, I must admit. I have used an alternative task manager called Process Hacker for 10 years now. I guess knowing memory and CPU usage does give me a unfair advantage. That is the only thing I can think of. The problem is that I cannot get into contact with the actual person to try and get this resolved. So effectively, because you had have something installed that you think might have caused it, or you have actually hacked. I mean, 36 people have, you know,
I have to
you're not,
admit, I don't
you're not
think I've
doing much
ever
justice.
heard of a case of someone getting permabanned for cheating and actually like having it disproven.
There's only a very few that I've seen, and that was in Escape
Yeah,
from Tarkov.
but typically they would end up getting unbanned. Ones that have been
Yeah,
told, no, we're keeping it as a permaban.
you've
There's
done something.
clearly, yeah, like you don't get it for no reason.
Yeah. No one will see this, so I'll shove one raccoon up my ass for each like I get.
Oh dear God, that poor
Aw.
man.
Couldn't
Try it
like
again.
it.
Try it again.
Aw,
Try it again.
I can't.
Saucy.
Definitely saucy. Jesus Christ, a decent. Oh wait, what do I go for? The 32-hour one or the 101.2-hour one? Written at
Probably the
40.9.
100.
Yeah. I downloaded this game without knowing anything about it. I was hooked within a few hours, then more hooked in another few hours. I hate 99% of new games, but this game combines the best aspects of a lot of other games into one very addicting game. It's a masterpiece despite the many bugs at this time of writing. Not a very good review. Well, let's look at this one. It's Tom Clancy's The Division meets Fallout 76's 76 survival craft MMO with a catch-em-all to find that perfect Mon creature to have by your side in battle slightly. Looting and exploring to fight bosses at high level. Map seems really gate locked at the moment, since it seems most of the content is 60% of the map from the looks of it, and a good portion of the tech trees are unreachable till later in the seasons. 7th for the 28th, 2024.
That's today.
That is. Might be an edit is added. Also, we'll add this game has server wipes every 6 weeks or so, which is absolutely bonkers for MMO of this type and genre. I feel like the server wipe thing might not happen, and if it does, it will probably hit once and will be lifted, seeing how this goes in majority of similar instances, genre, hype, and caliber considered. Anywho, I do enjoy this game right now and recommend it. Sure, for the simple fact it's a survival craft MMO and there isn't many of them out there at the moment. Also, it's free. Will say if you like/love Fallout 76, you'll enjoy this compared to the latest big survival craft of comparison, Palworld. It's better so far. Just hope it's not a bait and switch like Palworld is. If I've not heard anything about Palworld being a bait on Switch, so I'm gonna check that in a moment. If you're in it for the long haul, or most releases games out at the moment, anyway, this might take, and keep fingers crossed they remove the wipes before they lose most of their players. Don't drink Kool-Aid and eat your old oatmeal meal raisin cookies, and tell me otherwise with that trigger bot logic. Okay, weird.
I mean, if he thinks there's not that many survival crafting games out there, my first thought would just be recommending 7 Days to Die, because you
Yeah,
can literally reshape that entire world. It's an open world crafting game where you literally need to craft everything that you want. Sure, you can find the items, but like to get top tier items, you now have to craft them. You can no longer find them, and you have a humongous horde that comes after you every 7 days. So you constantly have like a goal in the game, and that's to survive the horde.
yeah, I get that. Sorry, I just thought I'd check, talking about a bait and switch. Still 93% positive this game.
Yeah, I'd have over a quarter mil.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite right. I think he's got something wrong. But anyways, I've been seeing a lot about this game. I do have a friend who I'm probably going to be trying this with, either today or another day. So I will actually have more details on it next week. But I thought it'd just be interesting to bring up for now, especially considering like all the mobile home stuff and things like that. It looks interesting, and looks like it'll be worth a bit of time to throw into and just see what the gist is.
Yeah, I think me and Zom will probably end up trying it ourselves because we play a lot of co-op stuff together as well. And as anything like that, especially, would be something we would at least have a look at.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
whether or
sorry,
not it
let's
lasts
say.
5 minutes of gameplay and then we're like, well, fuck this, it's a
Mm.
different story.
You'll say you're like that with a lot of games.
Yeah,
Just
it's hard to find a game these days that you actually have the motivation to continue playing because it's too similar to other things or it's too mundane and you just
yeah.
don't have any interest in it. It's been tough.
Is the current state of the bloody industry, mate? It's a
Yeah.
mess.
And
To
anything
put
you
it
get
lightly.
that is good, it's a sort of storyline type game that lasts a few hours and then there's no replayability.
Oh, way too true. Games now with stories are bloody ridiculous because you'll see it saying, "Oh yeah, we've got this overarching story. It's the main plot of the game. Oh yeah, how long does that last? 2 hours 30 minutes.
With 7 hours of cutscenes.
Yeah, and it's a
With,
seventy
from
pound game.
certain games, yes, £70 price tags as well. No, thank you.
Overall, fuck that shit. That's the overall gist of this.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, that's pretty much what we wanted to cover for this episode. See, depending on how things go next week, it could literally just be a discussion on Fallout London and Once Human. Really,
Yeah.
that could be pretty much the entire discussion next week, which would be interesting.
Plus,
But we'll
whatever
have to
happens
see.
throughout the week.
Yeah, if
If
anything
anything.
happens, we'll definitely update on that. Oh, actually, there was one other thing, but I'll probably discuss it next week now. But I'll just mention it briefly. I don't know if you know, Ready or Not, the SWAT game I have been enjoying playing lately. It recently released its first DLC about home invasions. It's come back at a 50% review. The content is pretty good. But the reason it's come back at such a low review score is basically they kind of crippled the game's run. It doesn't run very well anymore. They kind of
Lovely.
crippled it a bit, which
I
is
feel like
annoying as
that's
shit.
happening with a lot of games recently as well. Is things are getting updates and starting to run like shit.
Yeah.
Like
Another reason?
I know I still don't have a great PC, but I feel like now I've got my hands on pretty decent specs, and the games that I mainly play are just running like total garbage.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, you do play games though that are like half broken at all times.
Tell me about it, honestly.
But
Like the fact that I've recently been using Cyberpunk as like my reference game. Like I can go on that and I have pretty high settings on it and I get 100 frames, but then I'm playing games that claim that you need like 4 gig card and a shitty CPU and I'm getting 30, 40 frames on them.
Oh yeah, optimization is not something cared about anymore. It seems.
It is just they just couldn't give a shit. It's like, oh yeah, you want good frames? Go spend a few grand on a PC, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah. Sorry though. Another reason this game is actually being shit on at the moment. For some reason they made it so that the maps only work in multiplayer. You can't play them in single player unless you play it in practice, which is annoying as hell. But the
Plus, you
interesting
get nothing
part,
from practice. You don't progress
exactly.
at all.
Well, to be honest, progression in this game is interesting because all the guns are unlocked and all equipment's unlocked by default. The only thing you get from like progressing is you unlock more missions to do, but also you get a cosmetic item depending on what score you get. So basically, it's just whether you do well at it. That's all the game really is. How well you do and what score you get, and just trying to improve. And I do enjoy it, but yeah, removing single player was a bad idea apart from the practice mode, and it's a bit annoying, but you can work around it. The optimization, on the other hand, you can't. Anyways, that is everything I think, unless Will's got anything you'd like to add.
Nothing I can think of. No.
No problemo. Well, in that case then, thank you all for watching, as always. If you have enjoyed, feel free to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Join the Discord. We're still quite empty. This poor Discord.
Sadness.
I mean, it does its job, though. It updates us. We can use it to do everything we need. But it'd be nice to start seeing people come through eventually.
It will be.
One day.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah.
So
Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all next time. Bye for now, guys.
have a good one, guys. See you next week.